Hello and welcome to World Talks on TVP World with me, Ashim Kumar. The three-day Munich Security Conference, which wraps up today, was a powerful platform for world leaders to share security concerns. High on the agenda was peace in Ukraine, with many ideas shared and decisions taken, not all of them universally popular. But is Russia to be trusted, even if some kind of peace deal is reached? And how can Ukraine secure its sovereignty without the risk of a future invasion by Russia or its proxies? Also, where is NATO vulnerable to Russian aggression? Well, to discuss these issues, we're joined by Piotr Pytel. He's a former director, Polish Military Counterintelligence Service. Mr. Pytel, welcome to TVP World and thank you for taking the time.
Good morning. Thank you for the invitation.
Good morning. It's a pleasure, sir. So I want to start with a statement by President Zelensky. He talks about his secret services saying that Putin is planning an attack through Belarus on a NATO country. What do you make of that statement by President Zelensky?
Anything is possible, but I think that this scenario seems unlikely now. Given Russia's limited resources as a result of its involvement in war in Ukraine, he has no capacity to effectively conduct an attack on the territory of Lithuania or Latvia, let alone Poland territory. But I think that some form of military aggression by Russia against those two Baltic countries mentioned by me is likely in the next few years.
Interesting, sir. So, what comes to mind, of course, is Suwalki Gap, which runs between Kaliningrad and Belarus, and of course is a choke point for NATO because it connects the Baltic states with the rest of NATO. Now, you surely don't need that much military equipment to block that off and suddenly start to cause problems, do you?
I think that it is not only a matter of quality and quantity of military equipment or even the troops deployed in the region. Because what we are focused on now in Poland as our military defense system is deterring Russia. So the good solution for this imminent threat, because that's true, the Suwalki Gap or Baltic Gap is the weakest place in our defense. What we can do? We can, of course, develop cooperation between Baltic states, including also Poland, Germany, Sweden, Finland, within NATO structures. We also should strengthening NATO integrity at the level of political influence in relation to this problem. And of course, I think that the European government should put the pressure on Trump administration and insist on the continuation of US engagement into our military security, because it depends on the help and support of United States in case of any combat action in this area from Russian or Belarusian side to be supported by American troops. So very quick response is crucial. And of course, we should also perform many military exercises to show the Russians that we are able to take instantly the proper, effective, massive military action against its aggression in this region.
Understood. Now, talking about expectations from the United States, we seem to be getting mixed messages from the US delegation at the Munich Security Conference. On the one hand, we've got Pete Hegseth saying, we've got 10,000 US soldiers in Poland and we need more in the region. On the other hand, you have J.D. Vance and others, Keith Kellogg, saying, well, actually, we don't want the European Union involved in peace talks. How would you assess US commitment to Central and Eastern Europe and NATO security against Russia and Belarus?
Of course, now is an open question because Donald Trump has taken office. So obviously, even topics of the Munich conference, the issues which was raised during this conference are dominated and formatted by this fact that the President Trump is in office, and it implies an inevitable change in existing rules of cooperation between Europe and the United States in the area of military security in our region. So the leaders of Western countries expect an explanation of the current or planned policy of United States administration in the area of European security. The dominant topic, of course, firstly, is American plans to end the war in the Ukraine, and also the issue of the future military involvement of USA in Europe. I would like to add that in addition, J.D. Vance's statement on the eligible state of democracy in Europe and his open support to the populist parties and populist movement in Europe also became a hot topic lately. I think that Trump, it is a good test, what was said by J.D. Vance, that Trump's ambitions, Trump has an ambitious attempt to rebuild a European political scene. He would like Europe to be more submissive to him, maybe weaker. And maybe he is also planning to replace current leaders with his allies. When we are seeing on the whole picture of activity of Pete Hegseth, J.D. Vance, and some statements of Donald Trump, it's clear that we have to expect huge changes. Returning to the topic of the peace talks with Russia, I think that Trump, of course, imposed his narration here. While the outline of the plan presented by the American side seems to be, in my opinion, incomplete, not to say internally incoherent. For example, yesterday's statement of General Kate Kellogg, they said that negotiations without the participation of representatives of European countries contradicts the proposal to maintain peace after the conclusion of our agreement between Ukraine and Russia by the European stabilization forces. So we are talking about one integrated process. So start of the preparation to these negotiations, the negotiations, then the conclusion of peace agreement, and the maintenance of the peace by peacekeepers. Europe should participate in this already at the very early stage of planning future negotiations with Putin. Otherwise, this plan will fail.
Understood. Understood, Mr. Pytel. Now, you mentioned peacekeepers. Who's going to be doing that role?
As administration, American administration presented his point of view, there is no possibility according to their statement, to any engagement of American troops in Ukraine. So the responsible forces will consist of the European countries. But there is no good solution. It is, in my opinion, impossible to effectively keep the peace at the soil of Ukraine soil after the peace agreement without the support and presence, especially presence of the American troops. Donald Trump told that he expect some kind of not say a gift, but cooperation with Ukraine on the rare resources. I mean the rare earth elements, and he submitted to Zelensky's cabinet such proposal. So it seems strange, to be present, have its own presence with American companies in Ukraine without the cover or protection of United States. Maybe United States troops. Maybe Trump expects that President Zelensky provide him with pure and ready-to-use product, but it is rather not very probable.
Understood. Now, very, very briefly, sir, in the last few seconds that we have available, Russia has shown itself to be very capable in terms of hybrid warfare, especially in the gathering of intelligence using technology. How would you assess NATO's response to that threat from Russia?
Unfortunately, in my opinion, we don't have a coherent response and attitude, or we are not taking the proper action to combat this threat. This threat in the last years was evolved. Also includes acts of terrorism in the Western countries, which are performed by the people which are recruited by special intelligence Russian forces, especially Main Directorate of General Staff, so-called GRU. I think that we should return to some solutions which were effective during the Cold War era. And be in a very close cooperation by the means of every internal security agency of Poland, England, Germany, maybe some common forum.
Understood.
We should construct to tackle this problem.
An integrated response. Mr. Pytel, thank you very much indeed for sharing your analysis with our audience. Have a good day, sir.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye-bye now. And that's all from us in this episode of World Talks. Goodbye.